Yeah, I can see the clear on the
By
other.
the time you finish your thingy.
Right, by the time we finish, probably need to do 2 takes on this one.
You said one more.
Yeah, you're right. Well, welcome back, everybody, and welcome to another OB&D episode. We've been grinding every single weekend. Fishing, that doesn't count. I'm taking a redo. Well, welcome back, everybody, to another OB&D episode.
Lost your train of thought?
Yeah, the train of thought's long gone. I'm tired from this morning. Well, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another OB&D episode. I'm going to keep this short, sweet, and simple, to the point. We've been grinding hard, very hard, lately, but we just have not been getting the content that I need to be bringing you guys videos. I bought a boat for fishing and hunting this year, and I have yet to bring you guys a video off the boat. Me and Bree tried this morning. We went out muskie fishing and just didn't get the footage that I wanted and needed to bring you guys a video. But this afternoon we are going to go and replenish some food plots, set up some cameras, or not food plots, mineral spots, my bad. We don't have any food plots on the property, but we have 2 mineral plots already going. We set them up at the beginning of March, end of February. Somewhere around there. I think it was like the first weekend in March we actually put them out. And we put 2 cameras out on them. Today we are going to replace those 2 mineral spots with some more minerals, check those cameras, and we are also going to be setting up 2 more cameras and 1 bait pile. In Ohio you are allowed to bait deer, and so this time of year I like to put out about 25 pounds a week of corn just to get the deer used to it and coming to it and seeing what's on the property. As we get closer to season, I'll bump that 25 pounds up to 50 pounds, and then as we get even closer to season, I'll just do the 50 pounds. I was thinking 100 pounds. No, as we get closer, I'll go to 50 pounds a week. And then as season comes into play and we start getting into the more early October, I'll do 50 pounds as needed. Not every week, just when the corn's out, we'll put more out, just to keep the deer coming, keep the deer around. We don't really hunt over the corn until late in the season, but it draws the deer to the property. And when you got a big property like we're hunting out here, it definitely helps kind of centralize them a little bit, in my personal opinion. So we're going to get that bait pile going, and we are going to set up a 4th camera in this corner that I absolutely love. We set a camera up there last year before season, and we were getting a lot of good pictures. Come season, they were going through this corner just not patternizing them, and we couldn't get them on pattern. So hopefully with the Spy Point cell camera and not having to go back there and check it, we can leave that corner be and alone, and we will be able to pattern some of the deer back there, because there are some big bucks running this corner of the wood line and the soybean field, and I really think that is going to be a prime location this hunting season for us to hit up. But I've talked enough. This wasn't short, sweet, and simple like I thought it was going to be, but we're going to head out into the woods and start getting some work done and bringing you guys along the way. So we'll catch you guys at the first plot. we are at the first spot. We set up the camera. We put out the corn. This spot used to be Bree's primary hunting spot. She has her old single tree stand here. She would put out a corn pile here every single deer season because it's a real quick walk in and it's very centralized part of the property. Actually, when we walked in here, there was a doe and 2 fawns bedded about 60 yards into the woods from where we are setting up the corn pile right now. They did not like us being in here, but they are going to like us being in here because we are giving them corn. Free food to eat. So you can be mad at us for kicking you out of bed all you want. I don't care. Here's your corn. That's all I gotta say. So we got the camera set up. We got the corn out. We gotta put the SD card in the camera, and then we are headed on to spot number 2. And that is one of the spots where we already have the camera. And I want to say at that spot we had put the deer cane concentrate mix, and at the other spot was the Antler King Power Rack bags. So we're gonna keep the bags the same at the same spots to see which spot is getting more use out of it. And when we get to those spots, I'll explain to you guys why I chose those spots and for those reasons. So without further ado, we're going to put the SD card in the camera and head on out to the second spot and check that SD card. So see you guys there.
Well, we knew this was a highway.
Right.
We're right ready for more.
Oh yeah. So the main reason that I chose this spot for one of our mineral sites is there's a creek that runs this property, and right here is a land bridge that splits the creek, and it's got, we call this the culvert spot because it's got a drain culvert that creates this land bridge, and the deer use this as a main highway. So I am standing right on their highway right here, and they just walk right up this way, up the other side of the ridge. So I put it just off to the side of their main highway, and as you guys can see, they are just absolutely demolishing this area where I put this mineral spot. The other nice thing about this spot is right up here, last year during pre-rut, early October, right up under this tree was a really nice scrape. Right here, we put the camera up on this tree and we got pictures of some monster bucks. So with that being said, that was one of the reasons I decided I wanted to put a mineral spot right here. And as we can see, it is getting absolutely hammered on. Fingers crossed that the camera is in the right spot and we got some good pictures of what has been hitting this mineral spot. We're gonna refresh it, check the SD card. Bree has the laptop out with us today, so we can just check the SD card, erase it, put it back in, refresh the plot, and move on to the next one. So we're gonna get to that here in a quick second. I'm pretty excited to see what's on this camera after seeing that plot beat up like that.
It's gonna be all does.
Probably. Right. So this was the spot that we used the Deer Cane Mix Plus beneficial mineral attractant that drives deer crazy concentrate. Can pick this up at pretty much any local outdoor store or feed store. Actually, there's a couple feed stores in Geauga County where we're at that carries this stuff. Geauga Feed is one of them. Great Lakes Outdoors, I believe, is one of them. And it works. I mean, the deer are hammering this hard. Bree's about to pull up the SD card. The camera does need batteries, so obviously it has been in use since the beginning of March and just...
Oh, we put this one up on March. March 20th is the first picture.
Oh, I apologize. It was the end of March that we did these plots, not the beginning of March.
The other one we did earlier.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought they were around the same time.
This one we did a couple weeks later.
Okay, well, I guess we'll also see though when we pull the other SD card, but I thought we did them at the same time. Maybe we didn't. She's usually right though.
I'm just gonna look.
No, I know. No, this is right. The date is right on this. It's been hit.
Yeah, it's been hit pretty good too.
Yeah.
This was the first one we did.
Yeah, so this was the first spot that we set up. And the reason why we set up in this spot is last year during the pre-rut and rut, we set up a camera through here because all back through here is thick, nasty, swampy, just can't really access stuff. And then on the other side, it opens up into a little strip of hardwoods, and then after your property line, because the hardwoods is your property, then the property line, the neighbors had done some log clearing way back a couple years ago, I'm sure, because a bunch of little saplings and little trees like the one where we have the camera up are all coming in, and so it's very hard to get into there. So you got hayfield, a little window strip where they run as a highway into thick stuff, into a probably 30-yard long open wood strip into more thick little saplings that are very hard to access. And I decided, or we decided I should say, not I, to put a camera up, and we saw an insane amount of deer traffic. Big bucks, little bucks, does, all pre-rut and rut
Blue jays.
long. A lot of blue jays too, for some reason. But the camera was literally 10 yards that way on a tree. And what this is there's a path that comes up from the swamp right there. And as they come up, they hook up and run this. If you go another 10 yards through here, it cuts down there into the swamp. So this is a off the path enough to where what I'm getting at, sorry, is I don't like putting the minerals right on their path. I like it being just off of their path a little bit. And this is perfect because you got a path coming up from the swamp 10 yards that way, a path coming up 10 yards that way, and their path that they run between the hayfield and the swamp where they come up right here. And so as they're zigzagging through all this thick stuff like they like to do, they'll come and hit the minerals when they need. I'm a very big proactive guy on minerals. I think they do wonders to the deer and the deer herd on your property. So we're going to refreshen this, pull the SD card, and then move on to the final and last spot, which we don't do anything with. It's just a camera, and when we get there, I'll explain to you guys that spot and why I fell in love with that spot last year right off the rip. When I first came out here and we were talking about deer hunting it and figuring stuff out, we were walking the property, and we were walking, at the time it was corn, this year it's soybean. There were tracks everywhere through there, and this one corner just stuck out to me, and we put a camera up there, and it was just insane the amount of pictures and deer that we saw at that corner. And I'll get into that spot when we get there. Let's get this stuff done and out of the way with here. So we're gonna get that on the roll and see you guys at the next spot. So we are at the final spot to set up a camera, and last year this was corn, so this year they rotated the corn out, planted soybean. And when I first came out here and was talking to Bree and we were gonna hunt it, we circled the entire perimeter of the cornfield, and this corner right here was just absolutely getting the most deer traffic. So we put a T-post up and we're getting pictures all summer long. This wood line row is maybe 15 yards long, and on the other side of it is the hay field. And so this corner butts up to the corner of the hay field, which then all back there is the rest of that swamp stuff where we just had that mineral site up. And mineral site is probably 100 yards from us. So we're gonna go just inside this wood line, try to find one of the most heavily used deer trails, and put up a camera on that deer trail. It's the cell point, or the spy point cell camera. And so it will just send pictures to my phone. So I had it set up last year on a private property spot that I had. And it was all set up and ready to go, but I'm gonna have to go back in and reactivate my account because I canceled the subscription at the end of season because the camera was no longer in use, and get that ball rolling. So it might take me a little bit longer to set this one up, but we're gonna set it up and then head back into the house because it is a muggy one today. Holy crap. So we're gonna get this ball on the roll so we can get back inside. Stay with us. All right, so I got it all linked back up to my phone. The signal is bouncing from good to bad. Battery's at 100%. The SD card was a blank until I was setting it up and got some pictures on me. Last communication is 6:26 at 15:53. So a minute ago it took my picture. It probably just took my picture again because it is set up to, so if I go to cameras, I can go to my settings and manage device, image capture, and all of that. I'm not going to get into it. Oh, hey, look. Speaking of photos, today at 3:54, I am setting up the camera. So it sends it directly to my phone as it is taken when the signal is good. Very nice cameras to have. Definitely a useful tool these days. So you don't have to go out and disturb areas where your camera is, especially if you like to hunt up close and personal with those deer, trying to get closer to their beddings and everything. These cameras are great. It tells you, it helps you narrow down their pattern a lot without you having to go in and to disturb their natural routine. So I really like the spy point cameras, and definitely want to get a couple more into my inventory for this upcoming season, or at least for next season. So without further ado, we are going to be ending this video with the hopes that I helped you guys to figure out where to look to put mineral spots on your properties. You want to look for those highly used deer trails. If you know where they're roughly bedding, like that swampy area, up into there, right off their trails. You don't want to set them on their trails as much as just a little off. And when I mean a little off, it could be anywhere from 5 yards to 20 feet. I do not personally like to set them on their trails. Another good thing is just get out here, do the groundwork, find their highly accessible / most used trails. One of my favorite things to do is, as the snow is melting at the end of season, is getting out there and finding where these deer bed, because deer need 3 things: food, water, and resting. So you find where they bed, you find where they like to eat. Natural forage is great. If you have hardwoods with a lot of acorns and other nut trees, I love hunting hardwoods with a lot of nut trees. I've had some of my best success out of those areas. If you have fields with soybean, corn, food plots, find their bedding, find their food source, find their water, and cut them off from their bedding to their food source or water source. And you will not only see more deer, you'll have better success. So I hope this video helped you guys to be able to plan for deer season on where to do minerals, what to look for, and where to go. And we will be back out to refresh that corn pile next week. We might put out a grainiac block or 2 as well on top of the corn. Those tend to last a bit longer, and they definitely get a lot of action from the deer from last season. They were just smashing the crap out of it and just eating it all day long. So we'll probably put out a grainiac block or 2 with the corn, and just keep those deer rolling. And we'll see you guys come deer season, and be bringing you guys hopefully more deer footage. I kind of struggled the past couple of years to bring you guys deer hunting videos because it was a lot of self-filming and I was struggling to get the footage and get the shots. Last year Bree shot 2 deer, both with her crossbow, and I was slacking on the cameraman. The first one we did a little spot and stalk on these does in the hayfield, and she got within 10 yards and just smoked this doe. She ran 40 yards. The next hunt was late into the season. What I mean by the next hunt was the next one she got was late into the season. They were coming into the corn pile on a regular basis. We set up the ground blind. The camera died because of the cold, and I did not have an extra battery, and she popped this doe with an amazing shot. Ran another 60 yards and dropped. So this year will be a very interesting year. We've done a lot of work and a lot of scouting and a lot of preparation, and I'm really looking forward to this year and bringing you guys a lot of videos. We'll see you guys this deer season.